All right, so welcome back for another deep dive. And this time, of course, we're diving into Black Dove's episode 2. I'm still thinking about that premiere.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty wild.
Absolutely.
And we left Helen Webb in quite a tough spot, being a mom and an undercover operative.
Talk about a balancing act.
Yeah, but episode 2 just kind of throws gasoline on that whole fire.
It really does. And you know what's so interesting is how the episode messes with what we thought was going to happen. We saw that mission go wrong in the premiere.
Right.
But episode 2 jumps right into how she's dealing with it all, like psychologically.
Yeah.
It's not just about Helen facing the music from the people she works for. It's like the emotional baggage that she's carrying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We all know that she's trained to, separate everything,
Yeah.
But seeing her trying to deal with the fact that the informant is dead, it makes her seem so much more human than we saw in the premiere.
I agree. It really does. And that struggle she's going through, well, it's really just the beginning. Remember that new operative? The one who shows up and you're not really sure whose side they're on?
Right.
Well, that's like classic spy stuff, the double agent.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like they're teasing us with this shiny thing and making us wonder about everyone she talks to.
Yeah.
Are they there to help her or to mess her up?
Exactly.
It's agonizing.
But it's so smart. It's like they want to keep everyone on the edge of their seats and guessing the whole time.
Yeah.
Because trust.
Right.
Trust is something that she can't really afford in this world.
Especially with her personal life kind of falling apart at the same time.
Yep.
That dinner with her daughter, Sophie,
Oh, yeah.
it was hard to
Very
watch.
tough.
It was like so much wasn't being said. You could feel the tension,
Oh, it's like they're masters of telling the story without words. They're not using a ton of dialogue to make you feel how heavy things are.
Right.
You can see it in how Sophie's acting all withdrawn. Helen's forcing these smiles.
Yes.
They barely look at each other.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying so much without actually talking.
It's true. And the thing is, it's something we can all relate to, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole spy thing.
Right.
But that feeling when you're hiding a part of yourself from people you love and how much it hurts your relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes
Yeah.
Black Doves so good. It takes these crazy spy situations, but makes them feel real because of those human emotions.
Exactly.
We might not all be sneaking into secret meetings,
Right.
but we've all felt torn between different parts of our lives.
And speaking of torn, Helen's ex-husband gets dragged into it too.
Oh, boy.
He finds those leaked documents, and suddenly it's not just a theoretical danger anymore. It's right there at her front door.
It's a really clever way to up the stakes, don't you think?
Hmm.
It's not just Helen in danger anymore. It's everyone she cares about. And it forces her to make even harder choices. Does she focus on her mission, or does she try to keep her family safe? I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
And on top of all that, she's still trying to find out who messed up her mission in the first episode, which leads her to that fancy fundraiser, right? That whole part is like spy school in action.
It's textbook, right?
It is.
It is, yeah. You see her change into this whole different person, like it's nothing.
Right.
She moves through the crowd, picks up information without anyone suspecting a thing. It's like watching someone play chess like a pro, thinking 10 moves ahead.
And it's so exciting, but you also feel how vulnerable she is.
Uh-huh.
Because if she makes one wrong move, if someone recognizes her, it's all over.
And that vulnerability makes it even more impressive when she pulls it off.
Right.
She's not some, superhero spy who can't be touched. She's just a woman doing what she has to do in a dangerous world, knowing the risks every step of the way.
And then, at the fundraiser, she comes face to face with the big bad, the villain. What did you think about that whole meeting? Because for me, it was chilling.
Chilling is the perfect word. They give us just enough to make us curious without giving away too much.
Yeah.
You see them recognize each other, Helen and the villain, and you just know there's this whole backstory.
Yeah.
A shared past that's, dark and complicated.
It's like they're having this silent battle with so much left unspoken.
Yeah.
And the way it ends,
Oh, man.
it just leaves you wanting more.
It's like they want you to click next episode right away.
Yeah.
And speaking of characters who make things complicated, we have to talk about the journalist who pops up.
Yeah.
This person is obsessed, determined to expose all the bad stuff going on.
It's like they're a dog with a bone.
Exactly. Yeah, and you immediately feel this clash between their world and Helen's.
Yeah.
The journalist is all about black and white, fighting the truth no matter what. But Helen's world, it's all shades of gray.
Right. So it makes you wonder, is anyone really on the right side here? I mean, Helen's heart's in the right place. She's trying to stop something awful from happening. But how she does it, are her methods always okay? And can the journalist really grasp how tangled up this whole situation is? Or are they just chasing a story?
That's the gray area this show is so good at exploring. And I think we all get that on some level.
Yeah.
We make choices, sometimes tough ones, and sometimes those choices have consequences we didn't expect.
It's like that ripple effect.
Exactly.
We'll throw a rock in the water, and the waves just keep going, touching everything. And the choices Helen makes, they're causing some serious ripples.
For sure, especially for her family.
Yeah.
We talked about that dinner with Sophie, but now her ex-husband is caught up in all this too. It just takes things to a whole new level.
It's like they're saying, you thought Helen's life was messy before. Get ready, because it's about to get a whole lot messier.
And they do it in such a smart way. They're not just throwing random stuff in her way, they're weaving it into her personal life.
Right.
Making her face what she's done.
Right. And it all comes back to that question. How do you live a double life?
Yeah.
How do you protect the people you care about when your whole world is built on secrets and lies?
It's the age-old spy question in stories in real life. And Black Doves deals with it honestly, which makes it really interesting and kind of scary at the same time.
You know, it's funny you say scary, because that's what I feel whenever the villain shows up.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about this character that just creeps me out.
They've done such a good job making the villain creepy and mysterious. You get the feeling they're pulling all the strings from behind the scenes,
Yeah.
always a step ahead.
And remember that ambush?
Mm-hmm.
The way they filmed it, how brutal it was. It wasn't just about action or suspense. They were sending a message.
Exactly. They're not just trying to get rid of Helen, they're trying to break her. They want her to know they can get to her, that no one is safe.
It's like mind games, but for real. And it makes you realize this isn't just about missions and secrets. It's about staying alive.
Yeah. And staying alive sometimes means making tough choices.
Right.
That's what this episode is all about. Helen's constantly weighing her options, trying to find a way out, dealing with the consequences, and it's wearing her down, inside and out.
It's like she's being squeezed, and the pressure just keeps getting worse. You have to wonder, how much can she handle before she snaps?
That is the question. It's what keeps us hooked.
Yes.
Because we're not just watching a spy show, we're watching a woman trying to make impossible decisions, trying to find her way in a world that's always changing.
Yeah. And just when you think she's found something solid to hold on to, the ground shifts again. Whether it's the journalist getting too close to the truth or her ex-husband stumbling into danger, there's always another obstacle.
It's relentless.
Yeah.
It really is. But that's what makes Black Dove so hard to stop watching. They don't give you easy answers or predictable twists. They throw you into this world of gray areas and danger.
And you feel like you're right there with Helen. So if you're just getting into this world, what's the one big takeaway from episode 2?
I think it's this. Under all the spying and intrigue, there's a very human story about the choices we make, the secrets we keep, and how far we'll go to protect the people we love. Black Doves isn't just a show about spies. It's like a mirror to our own complicated lives.
Yeah.
Just, magnified and made more exciting.
Yeah.
It's like they're two totally different worlds colliding.
Right.
You've got Helen living in this world of secrets where the truth is like a weapon, something you use carefully.
Yeah.
And then there's the journalist,
Yeah.
this person who's all about being open, determined to expose everything no matter what happens.
It makes you wonder, though, is there even a right side in all this? Like, Helen's trying to do good. She's trying to prevent something terrible.
Right.
But the way she goes about it, is it always justified? And can the journalist even understand how complicated this whole thing is? Or are they just chasing a story?
That's what the show does so well, It doesn't make things simple. It makes you think about what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And I think it's something we can all relate to in the way. We all make choices, sometimes really hard ones.
Right.
And those choices sometimes have consequences we never saw coming.
It's like that ripple effect, right?
Exactly.
You throw a stone in the water and the waves just keep going, touching everything.
Yeah.
And Helen's choices, well, they're making some pretty big waves.
Especially for her family.
Yeah.
We talked about that dinner with Sophie, but now her ex-husband is caught up in this whole mess too.
Right.
It just raises the stakes even higher.
It's like the writers are telling us, oh, you thought things were complicated before. Just wait, it's about to get a whole lot worse.
And they do it so cleverly.
Right.
They don't just throw random obstacles in Helen's way. They make those obstacles part of her personal life.
Right.
They force her to deal with the consequences of what she's doing.
Yeah. And it all comes back to that big question. How do you live a double life?
Mm.
How do you protect the people you love when your whole world is built on secrets and lies?
It's a question that's haunted spies forever, in stories and in real life.
Yeah.
And Black Doves tackles it in a way that's both honest and kind of disturbing.
You know, it's interesting you say disturbing because that's how I feel every time the villain shows up.
Yeah.
There's something about them that's just so unsettling.
Oh, absolutely. They've created this villain who's both threatening and mysterious.
Right.
You get the feeling they're controlling everything from the shadows, always one step ahead.
And remember that ambush scene we talked about?
Huh?
The way it was shot, how brutal it was. It felt like they were trying to send a message. They're
Exactly.
not just trying to get rid of Helen. They want to crush her. They want her to know they can reach her, that no one is safe.
It's psychological warfare at its finest.
Yeah, and it makes you realize that this isn't just about missions and secrets anymore. It's about survival.
And survival often comes with a price.
Right.
That's the tension that runs through this episode. Helen is always having to weigh her options, make compromises, and deal with the consequences.
Right.
It's taking its toll on her, physically and emotionally.
It's like she's caught in this trap, and the pressure just keeps building.
Right.
You have to wonder, how much can she take before she breaks?
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's what keeps us watching.
Yeah.
We're not just watching a spy show. We're watching a woman wrestling with impossible choices, trying to navigate a world that's always changing.
And just when she thinks she's found solid ground, it all shifts again.
Yeah.
The journalist getting too close to the truth, her ex-husband in danger. There's always something else, another threat around the corner.
It's relentless.
It is.
But that's what makes Black Dove so gripping, you know?
Yeah.
The show doesn't give you easy answers or predictable twists. It throws you into this world of uncertainty and danger.
Right.
And you experience it right alongside Helen.
So, if I'm getting this right, episode 2 is all about setting the stage for the chaos that's about to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the calm before the storm, but a calm that's already crackling with tension.
Exactly. And I think what the show does so well is to weave all these different things together.
Mm-hmm.
The spy stuff, the family drama, the moral dilemmas,
Yeah.
into one big story. Everything is connected, and every decision, every betrayal, every act of courage or desperation has consequence that will continue to play out.
It's like a chain reaction where every link is important to the whole structure.
Right.
And as we go further into the season, we'll start to see how those links connect and what kind of explosion they create.
And I have a feeling those explosions are going to be both literal and figurative.
Oh, yeah.
Because in Black Doves, the stakes are always high and the consequences are always real.
So for our listeners who are just getting into this world, what's the one thing you'd want them to remember from episode 2?
I think it's this. Underneath all the spying and intrigue, there's a very human story about the choices we make, the secrets we keep, and how far we'll go to protect the people we love. Black Doves isn't just a show about spies. It's a reflection of our own lives, just magnified and made more exciting.
You know, it's funny we talk about these characters as if they're real people, stressing about the choices they make, why they do what they do. But it makes me wonder, did the people who made Black Doves ever give us any clues about where this story's going? Or are they just making it up as they go along?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit of both. You
Yeah.
know, I think they have a plan, like a general direction they want to go.
Oh, right.
But they also leave room to change things up, let the characters and how they relate to each other kind of lead the way.
So it's like a jazz band. You
Yeah.
have the tune, the basic structure, but the musicians can improvise a bit,
Right, sure.
add their own style.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And it kind of shows how making TV works. It's a team effort. You've got the writers, the directors, the actors. They all bring their own talents and ideas, and it creates something even better than what they could do alone.
But back to Black Doves specifically, think episode 2 gives us any hints about what's coming next.
Oh, definitely. It's like a treasure map. But instead of leading to buried gold, it leads to a deeper understanding of the characters and their world. For example, that scene where Helen and the villain face off at the fundraiser.
Right.
That's not just a dramatic moment. It's setting up their whole conflict for the rest of the season.
You're right. The way they look at each other, there's so much history there.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin,
Yeah,
pulled together by their past, but destined to fight.
exactly. And I think that dynamic is going to be a big part of what keeps us on edge.
For sure.
We're going to learn more about their connection, the secrets they share, and how it all affects what they're doing now.
Exactly.
And what about the journalist? Think they'll stick around, or are they just there to shake things up for a bit?
I think the journalist is a wild card. And that's what makes them so interesting. They're this force Helen can't control, someone who could mess up her whole spy world.
It's like that tiny pebble that starts an avalanche. One small thing that sets off a huge chain of events. And you can bet those consequences are going to hit Helen and everyone around her hard.
For sure. It reminds us that even the best spies can't plan for everything. People do unexpected things, and that can ruin even the most carefully made plans.
So if we're trying to see how episode 2 fits into the rest of the series, what are the big ideas we should be thinking about?
Well, the biggest one is trust, or rather, the lack of it. Black Doves is a show where everyone's lying, where everyone's got a secret motive.
Right.
And as viewers, we're always trying to figure out who's telling the truth, who's manipulating who's really in control.
Yeah, it's like we're playing chess with the characters, trying to guess what their next move will be. But the board keeps changing, and the pieces are always moving.
Exactly. And then there's the whole idea of family.
Yeah.
How do you keep those bonds strong when your world is built on lies and secrets? We see Helen battling with that in episode 2, and it's only going to get harder for her as things go on.
Especially with her daughter Sophie and her ex-husband now in danger. It's clear that people are going to get hurt in this fight, and the emotional scars will be just as bad as the physical ones.
Absolutely. And lastly, I think we need to remember how morally gray everything is in the show. There's no easy right or wrong, no clear heroes or villains. Everyone's making choices based on survival, loyalty, ambition. It's all mixed up.
It's a lot like real life, isn't it? Where things aren't so black and white. Good intentions can lead to bad results.
Right.
And Black Doves doesn't shy away from showing us that.
It embraces it. And that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
It makes us think about what we believe is right and wrong, try to understand why people do what they do, and it reminds us that sometimes the worst betrayals come from the people we trust the most.
Okay, I'm totally hooked now. Episode 2 has really shown me how deep and complex Black Doves is. It's a show that makes you pay attention, look for the hidden meanings, connect the dots.
And that's what makes these deep dives so cool. They give us a chance to really break down what's happening, what the symbols mean, share theories, and just geek out with other fans.
It's like a book club, but for people who love spy thrillers.
Exactly.
We get to nerd out over the twists and turns, argue about why characters do what they do, and maybe even figure out what's going to happen next.
And who knows, maybe if we put our heads together, we'll crack the code before the season's over.
Now that would be something. So to everyone listening, keep those theories coming. Chat with us online. Share your thoughts. Let's solve this mystery together.
Because in Black Doves, the game never stops, and the answers are out there waiting for us.
And remember, keep watching Black Doves. We'll be back with more deep dives as the season goes on. Until then, stay sharp, stay curious, and never underestimate a good double agent.